morning, Greyhounds. My name is Gigi Welp.
And I'm Rebecca Lee, here with your CHTV Morning News. Before we begin, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the holidays coming up, it's time to start getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner. Unfortunately for us, that means looking at the rising prices of America's favorite fall foods.
According to the Food Institute, labor and food packaging costs have increased in the past 3 years, partly due to inflation. While the rise in food costs has slowed down, they're still far from pre-pandemic prices.
With that being said, allrecipes.com offers some great simple dishes that work with a budget, or if you just want to try something new.
And keeping on the theme of turkey, CHTV's own Zach Francis has put together a package about the turkey farm.
Let's go check it out.
I'm with Rob from Little by Little Farms, and I asked him what it's like to be a farmer during the Thanksgiving season. So do you operate and sell goods year-round?
We do. Most of the production occurs in spring, summer, and fall, obviously, because warmer temperatures. But in the wintertime, we have eggs, chicken eggs, and we also produce radishes and lettuce.
So how do you prepare for the Thanksgiving season?
So it's November now, so we're starting to prepare for next Thanksgiving already. So
really?
Figuring out how many turkeys we're gonna have next year. They arrive in late March, early April here as 2-day old. They're called poults, little babies, turkeys.
What can people expect to buy from you during the season?
Oh, during the season, wow, lots. So we grow, our biggest crop are strawberries, and our strawberries are a variety that starts producing in late April and we'll keep producing for October.
Oh wow.
Kind of thing, yeah. It's a variety called Albion. But then we also have, let's see, lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, onions, radishes, beets.
What does it take to run and manage a farm?
Passion. You have to be passionate, but you also have to realize it's a business after all, right? So I have a passion. I wanted to have a farm since I was 8 years old.
Oh wow.
You know, and unfortunately, both of my grandparents on both sides had farms, but they sold them off before I was old enough to be able to, take them over. So I had to start from scratch,
Yeah.
And that's the name of the farm. Little by little, we started out with 3 goats and 12 chickens.
Thanks, Zach. Now let's check out the history of Thanksgiving with Alex Gastineau.
The history of Thanksgiving and 3 common misconceptions about it. Number 1. Starting when the Pilgrims landed in Plymouth Harbor, Massachusetts, you may have learned that they had to set up camp and quickly find ways to grow food and survive. But what if I told you Plymouth was already an established village with vast fields when they arrived? It also happened to be empty, thanks to this guy and his friends. Second, the first Thanksgiving was a lot different than what it was depicted. Everyone knows the classic Thanksgiving feast that contains turkey, sweet potatoes, and pumpkin pie, but that's not what they ate exactly. Instead of the turkey, they ate wild birds and deer. Sweet potatoes were unknown to them at the time, and pumpkins were around, but no one was aware how to turn them into pumpkin pie. Also, the attire for the Pilgrims was not their black and white clothes with buckles on their shoes. Instead, it was a lot more colorful. Third, Thanksgiving wasn't really a tradition after the first historic meal. Instead, different colonies would celebrate Thanksgiving at different times of year. Also, no one even thought much of the original Thanksgiving, as there were other gatherings like it before. Thanksgiving didn't even become a holiday until 1863, when President Abraham Lincoln declared it to be one on the 4th Tuesday of every November. Then, years later, President Franklin D. Roosevelt changed it earlier in the month for the health of the economy. I hope I was able to give a more accurate representation of the history of Thanksgiving.
Hello Greyhounds, I'm Selah Kearby back with your CHTV Entertainment Update. Starting off with some exciting movie news, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, starring Rachel Zegler, premiered this past weekend on November 17th. This highly anticipated prequel to the beloved original Hunger Games trilogy is looking to be a huge success. Continuing on with some fun news, as many of you know, today is our last day before Thanksgiving break. It's going to be a wonderful 5 days off, and you can certainly use the time to catch up on some much-needed rest, as well as enjoy some food for Thanksgiving. Before we get too stuffed with all of today's wonderful news, I'll pass the plate over to Gigi and Rebecca at the host desk to wrap up our newscast.
Thanks for all those amazing segments. Before we move on to daily announcements, we'd like to wish the happiest birthday to everyone listed on the screen. Happy birthday, everyone.
Tryouts for the esports spring split began on Monday, November 27th. Before tryouts, students and their parents or guardians must register with RMA and join the esports tryouts Discord server. The QR code and tryout schedules are posted in all cafeterias, in the comments, and outside Mr. Sharkey's classroom, E244. Tryouts for all titles will be hosted in G108 after school.
Intramural 5-on-5 basketball team and code of conduct forms are available outside of Mr. Staley's room E206. Forms and T fees are due by December 21st. Please see Mr. Staley in room E206 for more details.
And that's all we have for your morning announcements, Greyhounds.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at CHTV Carmel Television and follow our Instagram at Carmel TV. And send in your Pet of the Week submissions on Instagram too.
You can also subscribe to our newly launched loyalty program, CHTV Plus. Learn more at chtvcarmel.com. This has been Gigi Welp.
And I've been Rebecca Lee. Have a great Thanksgiving break, Greyhounds.